Recording in progress.
Jai Guru. More people may be here with us now in the ether, in the future.
In the future.
Jai Guru, everybody. It's nice to see everybody. It's nice to be here. I feel very, very almost picked on, because it feels like every time I go to give a Sunday service, it seems not picked on, but it's almost like openness and faith is a call to prayer, and prayer a call to faith. It seems that Swami Kriyananda just always wedded these topics that seem almost like looking at it, it's almost like a yin yang. You know, like, well, what's important? You know, to pray for what you want or to be eternally open? What's important? What's important? Well, the masters say both are important. You know, we're going to continually oscillate between deeply driven actions, and then once we're done with our acts, we can rest and we can find out whether our actions were conducive to spirituality or not. It's kind of like, you know, if you want to swim in the ocean, you know, we want to swim in God. If you don't paddle first for a while, you won't be swimming anywhere. That's sometimes how it is without the techniques that Yogananda and these other great masters brought. You know, when souls come to this world with a little degree of spiritual understanding, you might find that they will sit down and be peaceful. Maybe they're non-reactive people in general, right? But we find on this path people who have gone from A to Z, people who have gone from chiefly serving when they were younger to being deathly concrete still when they're older. We find in this path that the people who were driven to meditate deeply when they first got on the path now find their joy serving their fellow man. And they can still meditate, but it's two sides of the same coin. Intensely active, intensely one-pointed service, and in deeply, deeply open, calm, still, blissful stillness. Made me think of Hanuman. I was reading one book by one of our fellow Guru Bhais, and one student asked the teacher, why is Hanuman, a monkey, depicted as the chief disciple, just depicted as the best disciple? They're so restless. Monkeys are so restless, ornery, and very, very active. Why are they thought of as the chief disciple? And the teacher in this story says, they're very restless, but it's a prod to the devotee that we must be restless, very restless for God. How many years we've been restless for ourselves? How many years we've been constantly active from a belief or a desire that happened 4 years ago? You know, on this path, it's intensely restless, intensely almost like we feel like we're going to be done with desires, but we hear that we need to desire God above everything else. You know, so this is just, it just seems like such a wedding of two sides of the same coin. It seems very, very counterintuitive. So I was thinking of openness, and I couldn't think of much, but I thought of Anandamoy Ma. This is a book that I had in the village. I think, to my knowledge, it's a pretty rare book, because if I'm not mistaken, it's in German and English. So it's a kind of a different thing, not very common. But Anandamoy Ma, when I think of a saint of openness, when I think of somebody who, when they talked, people around understood what openness meant, you know, after she spoke or when they were in her presence. She says, whenever you have the chance, laugh as much as you can. By this, all the rigid knots in your body will be loosened. But to laugh superficially is not enough. Your whole being must be united in laughter, both outwardly and inwardly. Do you know what this kind of laughter is like? You simply shake with merriment from head to foot so that no one can tell which part of your body is most affected. What you usually do is laugh with your mouth while your mind and emotions are not involved. But I want you to laugh with your whole countenance, with your whole heart and soul, with all the breath of your life. In order to be able to laugh in this way, you must have implicit faith in the power of the self and try to bring the outer and inner parts of your being into perfect harmony. Do not multiply your needs, nor give way to the sense of want, but live a life of spotless purity. Making the interests of others your own, seek refuge at his feet in total surrender. You will then see how the laughter like that flows from such a heart defeats the world. I mean, that kind of surrender, that kind of willing to let an aha moment change their day, willing to let the joke of a friend change their day for the better. That willingness to be affected by all things that are good and beautiful. I think that just Ananda Moy Ma just sings that to me all the time. Whenever I think of her, that's who I think of. But Master was no stranger to this idea ever. What's his chief chant that he shared with us? Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. I mean, he's saying this is what the call of the devotee is. It's almost like that actually, okay, the decision to chant that chant when life gets hard, that is the union of single-minded prayer and being open. You can feel yourself being closed. You can feel yourself starting to think about how all these things might go wrong. But we can decide to keep our hearts open. And it doesn't change the situation for the better. The car wreck may have still happened, but now rather than being in a tizzy, we might see that there's a little girl over there that might want comforted, right? It doesn't necessarily change what happens, but it can change what happens to us. It can change how we can interact with the world. And it is the eternal desire of the devotee. It's not the thing that we shout at everybody, right? It's not the thing that we can't stop talking. Like if we find, Patanjali says, right, when people are happy, we be friendly to them. We don't need to disturb people's happiness. If people are happy, we can let them be happy, right? If people are sad, we're compassionate. Not often people who are sad need the teachings. Sometimes sad people just need a friend. Sometimes sad people just need somebody to be silent in front of them. With the virtuous people, we're delighted. But how often in the world do virtuous people get all kinds of other flack? People doubt them, people ridicule them, people make fun, people think, oh yeah, you're serving yourself, and somehow, very few people are delighted with virtuous people. We're a rare bunch to sit in the semicircle. And wicked people we are indifferent to. But how much do people become the most activated that they've ever been in their life because of somebody else's wickedness, because of somebody else's lack of understanding? Now, peace of mind, joy, serving your friends are all taken to back burner because wickedness is more appetizing to our mind than joy, than peace, than love, than simplicity, than forgiveness. So the wedding of intense desire and openness. I mean, that's what Master Yogananda, when he taught the energization exercises, here they are, tense with will, relax and feel. It's both. We find people in life that just want to become tense. We find other people in life that just say, oh, I just want to relax. We are here to do both, sometimes in the same 10 seconds. I mean, that's the thing that we're trying to do here is not just relaxation, but conscious relaxation. Not just action, but conscious action. And I'm just going to wrap, I feel like I'm in the tail end of my thought here because this is really what I feel is the blessings of this path. Not only to have the ideas, how these opposites actually play with one another, not just back and forth, but that's how you rise, by going, okay, let me intensely relax. Okay, I seem to have drank all the honey that's in relaxation. I must need to act more because I'm not enjoying my relaxation anymore. I must need to act. I need to move some energy. And then you try to relax again and it's like, oh, wow, my worries aren't as worrisome. Oh, wow. You just see like, oh, I'm seeing things a little bit clearer. Nothing's changed. But I've changed. Nothing at all has changed, but I can now see this space in between the words. I can see the space in between the conundrums of life. And speaking of how opposites feed into each other, that's the breath. I mean, that's the practice of Kriya Yoga. That's the practice of conscious exhalation and conscious inhalation. And I have found, I remember back in Ohio when I started coming onto this path, I would notice I'd be at the farm, I'd be doing certain things, and maybe I would have a thought, maybe somebody would say something, but for whatever reason, I would inhale. Maybe it was, oh, I remember I'm getting paid tomorrow. Maybe it was, oh, I remember that my boss actually picked all those tomatoes. I don't have to go do that. For some reason, my mind and heart all reacted in a way where I would go, as if anything changing outside changes anything in here. But that's the Maya that we're working with. So when you see yourself all of a sudden get like, oh, things are good. You just had an unconscious inhalation. Balance it with a conscious exhalation. And then at the end of the day, or when things go wrong, what do? Oh, I can't wait to lay down. Or I can't wait to get home, or you get to the bathroom. You just let those unconscious, but then you notice all of a sudden that unconscious exhale became conscious. And so ride with an unconscious inhale. And that, I think, is one of the chief ways that we can take the meaningfulness of our sadhana, the meaningfulness of our spiritual practice, whatever meaning we've derived from being still, which again is not normal in the world, right? Most people who are being still are very much complaining about it. Can't wait till their leg heals, can't wait till their pocket gets filled. For us to say, let's do nothing, that's very, very rare, right? It's even more rare when we feel good. Because as spiritual people, right, we can be really lazy one day or really sad or whatever, and we're like, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to be calm today. It's like, well, yeah, who could have guessed that, right? But it's just so meaningful when we can bring the meaning of our stillness, the meaning of our beliefs, right? And we can make them real in the real world, not just doing things on our yoga mat or on our meditation cushion, but start to live our lives differently, even if it's you're going down the road and a red light happens down the road and you go. That's the subtlety that we're talking about, because it is those reactive processes that keep the door of our heart closed. It's those reactive processes that don't wait to see how it's relating to anybody else around you, doesn't wait to think if it's a good idea or a bad idea, and doesn't even have the intention to be helpful. Yet we are breathing unconsciously. Sometimes we're happy when we shouldn't be, and sometimes we're sad when we shouldn't be. The cool thing is with Kriya, right, shouldn't be, I don't mean to be negative, I just mean take that energy and don't let it go to waste. That's what I have found, is when those unconscious breath actions happen, it's the divine giving you a little bit more of your energy on a silver platter. That's the way I've come to view it. It's, here is your reactive process. Can you start to make this a conscious process? And you'll find that the more that we make our lives a conscious process, we'll be tired, but we won't be fatigued. We'll be very, very active, but we won't be restless, right? We'll start to find that middle ground where towards the end of our life, people will say, I'm not sure whether they were more calm or more joyful. I'm not sure whether they were more active or more still. They seem to be both. It seemed to be that when they were serving, they were thinking of that calm one within. And it seemed to be when they were alone being calm, they were thinking of the love, and they were in tune with the love that they have for their friends and for God. It's that kind of wedding, the two. So I'd like to read just one more from Anandamoy Ma, our saint of openness for the day. And then I think we'll end and we'll have our offertory prayer after this. But I really want us to maybe even take a few moments before the prayer. And this is Anandamoy Ma. Every picture of Anandamoy Ma is beautiful, standing by the ocean. She says, suppose some people go and bathe in the sea and make up their minds to swim ahead of everyone else. Consequently, they will have to look back. But for him whose one and only goal is the ocean itself, no one has remained for whose sake he looks back or is concerned. And then what is to be will be. Give yourself up into the wave, and you will be absorbed by the current. Having dived into the sea, you do not return anymore. The Eternal himself is the wave that floods the shore so that you may be carried away. Those who can surrender themselves to this aim will be accepted by him. But if your attention remains directed toward the shore, you cannot proceed. After bathing, you will return home. If your aim is the supreme, the ultimate, you will be led on by the movement of your own true nature. I'm going to read that one more time. If your aim is the supreme, the ultimate, you will be led on by the movement of your true nature. There are waves that carry away and waves that pull back. Those who can give themselves up will be taken by him. In the guise of the wave, he holds out his hand and calls to you, come, come, come. Friends, I'm pretty speechless, but I think that if we can just for a few moments feel the stillness between us and within us, we might touch what Ananda Moy Ma and all the great masters gave up everything to try to teach us. Om.
The offertory. Divine Mother, we offer to thee the fruits of our labors.
We offer to thee the fruits of our labors.
Bless these offerings.
Bless these offerings.
That they serve as a channel of thy light.
That they serve as a channel of thy light.
To truth-seeking souls everywhere.
To truth-seeking souls everywhere.
Peace.
When Satya came in today and I saw everything that was going on around him, I knew that Divine Mother had said, here's the song you have to do today. And I said, I was going to tell him, I said, no, I'm going to see how it fits with your talk. And I hope you're sitting down. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days Open wide I keep for thee, door of my heart. Open wide I keep for thee. I told you it would fit.
Fits too perfect.
You have some announcements?
Beautiful. I,
Do you have an announcement?
I do have an announcement. My wife and I, Daya's not here. Narda wasn't feeling so great this morning. But we are wanting to have people over for Thanksgiving. So anybody who doesn't have a place to go, we're going to have people over at our place in Aptos. We'll be in touch. We have emails of everybody and everything. But Daya's very, very inspired to, I mean, we haven't, yes. So that's a joy to share. Any other announcements?
Any other announcements? By popular demand, I found this morning on the file, and I printed some up, but it's the lyrics for the songs for the Festival of Light.
Thank you.
And it will, since we're not doing the full festival today, we'll get most of these in there. So if somebody would like to have a copy, please.
I will say that this is one of the days where I'm just so grateful for the festival. If I remember correctly, I was told that Swami Kriyananda created the Festival of Light because new people would come to a Sunday service and maybe somebody would talk about openness for a half hour, and then people would leave thinking, all those people care about is openness, you know? If it's your first, you know, so the Festival of Light is, good golly gosh, right? We're here to celebrate the light of Christ. We're here to celebrate the light of our own consciousness and the light of all consciousness.
Satya, can we also do healing prayers at some point?
Yes. Let's do it at the end. Let's do it at the end.
At the end?
Yeah, I think so. Let us, if we would, please stand for this part. This is usually what all happen.
You start, or do we need
Does anybody have a
a
lighter?
fire stick?
I have matches.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I don't have.
It's okay.
Quick, rub two toothpicks together.
Festival of Light, celebration of light. Oh my gosh, you must have good faith in me. There's only one match.
Oh my gosh. Okay, rubbing
This is
these two
talk about
sticks
sadness
together.
and faith, right?
Woo-hoo.
I mean, it's not my first rodeo. Jai Guru, everybody. All jokes aside, and only sincerity throbbing in our hearts. Divine sincerity. We celebrate the grace of God that has come anew to earth through our line of gurus. Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar, and Paramhansa Yogananda. This grace is eternally channeled to mankind by great masters in every religion. It has been given new clothing by our gurus to reflect man's dawning awareness that matter is only a manifestation of divine energy. In God, all are equal, not only Jesus Christ, Lord Krishna, and great saints everywhere, but even in essence, those on earth who have sinned most greatly. Joyfully lifting up our hearts in song, we pray that we, who earnestly seek communion with your light, receive it in our lives abundantly.
Father, Mother, friend, our God, we thy wonders all acclaim. Father, Mother, friend, our God, we thy wonders all acclaim. May our thoughts be only of thee, train our hearts
invite those who feel so inclined to come up to the altar and receive the light from the masters. I'll hold it up, and please draw it over your mind, the light of Christ over your mind. As you approach, offer a prayer of gratitude to the infinite Christ, in whose love our line of masters have descended, that we might all come to God. Pray too for the grace to share with all as you have received, for you are a part of all that is. May the light of Christ, the infinite consciousness, shine upon you.
Om Christ, Amen. 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 Christ, Amen. Om 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 Christ, Amen.
Jai Guru, everybody. Before we end, let's just take time to relax together and share anybody's name who we'd like to say, to share the blessings of the service, to share the energy of the service and the energy of each other with them. So please feel free to say anybody's name out loud right now.
Mary Ellen Hill. Carolyn Bill. Bailey. Chair. Lisa. Laura. Sheila. Kathy. Sarita and Duncan. Phil.
and for all people, for each other. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art within all thy children. Thou art in these souls. Manifest thy healing presence. Manifest thy light in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls. Let's rub our hands together, energizing the palms the way the Yoganandas taught, and then let open the floodgates of the heart with the holy Om.
Everybody stand. You have to stand.
We're going to sing with joy.
Sing out with joy.
Paramhansa Yogananda Maharaja ki
Jai!
Jai Guru, everybody.
Jai Guru.
Thank you, Satya.
Thank you, Satya. Thank you for our music.
Yeah.